Thank God I'm the only one. Thanks, Brad. A lot of you in here, I've been around and I probably see 10 or 15 people that at one time or another approached me and asked me to be a part of downtown Pleasanton Rotary. And a few of them that aren't here today who have since moved on to other places. Uh, I'm not sure how I wanted to do this. I first thought, well, let's do it chronologically. And then I thought, well, let's do it by category. I think I'm going to go the chronological way. I'm not sure what the best way is, but after my mom and dad moved to California back in 45 after World War II, my dad served in the Navy in the Pacific region, and they settled in San Francisco. Dad got a gas station on 16th and Guerrero, which is right in the hot spot of the bad part of San Francisco right now. There's been a lot of shootings. I grew up 4 years in San Francisco, Brisbane, that area. One of the great things my dad always told me after the Giants came to town was that my backyard is where Willie Mays stood. And we actually had a home there. I don't believe it, but that's what he keeps telling me because he knew Willie Mays was my favorite ball player of all time. Anyway, we moved out to Antioch and went to Antioch schools. Nothing exciting happened there. Antioch only had 5,000 people at the time. Now 5,000 people is a fluctuation in a day in the city of Antioch. Anyhow, I then moved on into the Navy in '68. And at that point in time, actually, let me transgress a bit. In seventh or eighth grade, we all took our, I think they're called some kind of an IQ test of some type. And when it was all finished, they said there was two things that I should probably move into. One was technology. At that time, it was called computers. And the other one was law. So, yeah, that was a tough decision. I chose technology, obviously. I just couldn't see arguing people's marriages and stuff like that. It just seemed like it would be kind of boring after a while. Anyway, so I went into an industry where it changed every single day. And with that, and that's what I did for almost 50 years. I've been in the technology industry since I got out of the service. But let's go back to the service. I ended up going to Vietnam, obviously, just we all did in 1968. And I was fortunate enough to be uh, a crew member on a plane and a squadron that's only job was to support the U.S. Navy SEAL team. And so my job was radarman navigator, and we flew back and forth from various places in the United States over to Vietnam and stopping in different places along the way. We'd bring in weapons, we'd bring in equipment, we'd bring in UDT stuff, and we'd bring in the crews themselves. And likewise, we'd bring them out. And I got to tell you, that's probably the worst thing you ever want to do is be on a plane with 65 uh, SEALs that have spent 13 months in Vietnam. They're all walking around with ears on a what do you call it, on a necklace, being so proud of all the people they shot. Anyway, I did that for 4 years, and that was electronics mostly. I also managed fixing all the radar and navigational equipment on our planes. It was kind of fun because it was old fashioned. We had these things called tubes, picture tubes, oscilloscope type tubes. And there's little 8-pin things you stick in the motherboard. I guess they didn't call them motherboards then. Anyway, when I got out of the service, I went to USC and got my master's and bachelor's degree in business. And that was my first introduction to giving. I was the National Foundation March of Dimes poster college student of the year in 1973. And that was a kind of a special award for me. I enjoyed it. I did a number of things. The biggest things that I was accomplished was trying to lessen, not eradicate, but lessen the problems associated with venereal disease. So I put together programs in the city of Long Beach and Lakewood and Los Alamitos, aiming to try to improve, uh, like I said, decrease the number of cases of VD in the hospitals in the area around it. We were quite successful actually in the Alameda County medical, whoever records everything says that there was a 15% decrease in the 2 years that I served. One of the things we did, we went to every single bar in that area and handed out glow in the dark matchbooks that said VD could be and you turn it over, it says free secret check and care, and it gave the phone number to call. And they said there was an increase in the number of people that called after that. And I enjoy doing that, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm here today is because I want to get back to the community as best I can, because as an example, here in Pleasanton, they've done a tremendous job for me and my family. My wife is an example of 45 years now, works for Joe Callahan, and many of you know who Joe is. Of course you do. You were from the very day that we stuck our muddy shoes in the ground on Hop Yard when they did the grand opening of Hacienda Business Park. Like I said, the city's been wonderful to us. We moved here in '82 and been in the same house since the day we moved in. We have a wonderful daughter. Her name is Kendall Clausen. She actually, unfortunately, didn't go in the direction that I wanted her to go in. You know, Dad always wants her to do whatever Dad does, and Mom always wants her to do whatever Mom does. So she kind of did exactly what Mom did, and then more. She became a lawyer. So there you go. We do have a lawyer in our family. She works for Gibson Dunn in San Francisco. It's an international law firm, and she serves in the real estate division, and she goes through everybody's legal documents for buying and selling property. She did part of the thing for the Howard Terminal. She was responsible for a chunk of the Warriors building when they were doing the building. So she's very entrenched in the community here. I think she's going to do well, and she loves what she does. She does come home every once in a while. She lives in San Diego. We get to see her, so that's kind of nice. Just enough, 3 or 4 days. And then when she leaves, you know, we get to go do what we want to do instead of listening to what she wants us to do. Yeah. Anyhow, I do have something interesting that I thought about, seeing that somebody in this room was in the movies or so. You know, in 1970, when I was living in Hawaii, because our squadron was stationed in Barbers Point, Hawaii, which is where that new Disney hotel is. It's right next door to it. Anyway, the place has since closed down, and it's a reserve field or something like that. Anyway, one day I was driving around a little green Carmen Via around on Diamond Head, and I got stopped, not by the cops, but by a crew, and they pulled me over and they said, "Would you like to be in a movie?" And I said, "Sure, I'd love to be in a movie. What am I going to do? Do I need to practice lines? I love talking." And they says, "No, well, all we want you to do is drive." And I says, "Drive, okay. You got a nice fancy car? Well, who is this?" And it's Hawaii Five-0. So in 1971, I was in one of the episodes of Hawaii Five-0 with Jack Lord, and I was the guy in the green Carmen Dia following behind the blue gumball, which was the name of the episode, Blue Gumball. Don't know what the movie was about. I never saw it. But...
Welcome, Dano.
Yeah, there you go. I did get to see them. They were standing there on the side where they were doing all the filming, so I did actually get to see them. But I only got one shot at it. They said, "Just keep driving. We don't need you anymore." You know? Let's see, what are we missing? We got family, my love for the community.
What do you want to do in Rotary?
Oh, you know what else I forgot? I've been in the business since 1979 and self-employed pretty much since 1979. I started Computerland Corporation. Some of you may have known that. I was Computerland number 13. We all opened up the same day. I had the Los Angeles franchise. And I also wrote some of the first software that people use today. I wrote the first accounting software package for an IBM PC. And it has since been bought and sold numerous times. I think it's called Sage now. But I wrote it. It was a complete billing system, receivables, payables, inventory, sales order, and general ledger. And did I say payroll? And so I wrote the whole thing, and it was certified, the whole works. And then I went on to work for other companies doing software development, including Cato Systems. Cato bought out Acer, but kept their name. I was their 90th employee. Then I went on to a company called Eagle Computer in Los Gatos. And some of you may know if you've been around in the computer industry, they were the first PC clone. And every single place that sold PCs sold an Eagle Computer in the United States. At one point in time, they were $300 million in sales in less than 2 years in existence. IBM got mad, sued them, said that they copied their operating system. We fought for 5 years, and my 25,000 shares of Eagle was worth negative something or another. So obviously I didn't make anything on that one. Two? Oh, yeah, definitely. So anyway, real quick, like, had a business on Main Street for a number of years. It was Clausen Computer Solutions. A number of the businesses in town, San Ramon, Dublin, and Livermore, including Lawrence Livermore Labs, and all the wineries were my clients. And I did mostly network integration and software development for all of them. I sold the business and went on working for military aircraft parts companies. In between, I did 15 years with Wente. I could never remember that. Anyway, 15 years at Wente, I was the chief information officer and did a number of software development projects for them as well. Most recently, about 12 years ago, I joined the Valley Care Charitable Foundation and served as vice chairman on that for a while. And then Bob and Joyce came along at the time when we were really having a problem with the organization because of attrition and kind of general lack of interest in what was going on. So we weren't going anywhere. Bob and Joyce were fortunate enough to come in and bail us out and create a really strong organization. We were very successful. I know in 1 year, there was a $1.5 million in donations that we received through trusts and wills, if you will. And then we had a number of special programs where the people from the independent actually did a matching on, I think it was $750,000. Yeah. So yeah, and so Bob and Joyce have been very fortunate. They asked me to move in and join along with them on the Community Action Relationship Board, which is a part of Stanford's outreach to the community and what we are responsible for. And I'm the chairman of the Pleasanton one. There's one for Dublin and San Ramon, and Danville have one? Yeah. Anyway, so our job is to be a liaison between the community and the hospital and determine what it is that the hospital isn't doing that the community thinks they should be doing, and vice versa. Letting the people in our community know exactly what is available here in Pleasanton, because we don't realize it, but there's, I think, what is it, 40 some different locations? Yeah, that's Stanford, right here in the valley. And if you try to figure out where you're going to do something, the first thing you think of when you think of Stanford is over the hill across the bay. But we have so much here in Pleasanton and in the valley. And so my job with them is to try to create that relationship between you and the hospital. Any questions?
What are you gonna do in Rotary?
I'm excited about that. So I was always interested in the wheelchair program that the Barians had. And when I first heard about it many years ago, I thought this is something I really want to do someday. So I was going to reach out to him one day and see what I could do to help. But I never did that because I was always too busy. You know how that is. You always got to make time for something in order to get it done. So I'm going to do that. And the other one, very passionate. I do this for my local school that I went to, Antioch High School. And that is go out and raise funds and participate in giving scholarships to the students in the community. I've been doing that for Antioch for a number of years. This year, we're going to do 10 scholarships, $5,000 each for little piddly high school graduating class of 300 people's raising the money. So I want to do that, but on a, over here in my own hometown, so to speak. So yeah, that's it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. David, just keep on walking. Dick Stafford and Larry Annis will help you get active in the wheelchair program. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Actor President Jim Henson.
Thank you, Brad, and thank you, Jake. Thank you, David, and thank you, Jed. Jed, I would see often as he dropped his twins off at Valley View School. So it was, well, he'd see me because I was speaking, but it was fun to see him drop the kids off. Opportunity drawing, Audrey. Oh, Kathy.
I just want to say, there's $116 way long in this envelope now. So somebody's got to win today. So let's see if we can make it happen. Acting president, would you please choose 2 of those tickets? One? 2, okay. Last 3 digits. Who has 892?
I do.
All right, Kathleen O'Leary, let's see what happens. We're looking for a red disc,
Let's go red one.
red one. Get a red one, get a red one. Blue. Okay,
How many chips,
Yeah.
how many chips are in there, Kathy?
there's only like 7 of them. There's not very many at all. I have to say, somebody just said the red one has a scratch on it. I never knew that.
Must have been somebody who's blind and knows that.
Yeah, what's that all about? 884 is the second ticket. 884. Come on, Bill, all right, Mr. Burke.
I'm betting on Bill.
I'm wondering, come on, Mr. Burke. You feel the scratch?
You really gave an unfair advantage there.
I know there's one in there. Do you want me to pull it out and show you?
Come on, Bill.
He's colorblind, he wouldn't know.
Blue, next week again.
Thank you, Kathy. And thank you to everyone that bought a ticket. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming. Gary, welcome. And thank you to all of you that spoke today, and Brad for organizing that. And at this time, we're adjourned. That wasn't loud enough. I'm gonna do it again.